Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the internet and welcome to my channel. It's me, Odio, and today I'm here to do another review for you, and it's The Lion King Mufasa, a prequel story to the original Lion King, one of the best animated movies ever. Is this going to hold up? Is this going to be a decent prequel? Or do we have another Simba's Pride on our hands? Let's get into it. So this is an original prequel story for The Lion King about his father, Mufasa, the great line of kings that you would see in the stars if you looked up over the Pride Rock. You know what I mean? Oh, we're going to get some great backstory about that, right? Well, not really, but it's in the animation style of the 2019 The Lion King remake. This one's not a remake, it's an original story, but it's got that same animation and kind of brings the same problems along with it. It looks pretty cool most of the time and the animals look pretty photorealistic, but the facial expressions, you don't really get them. They're better here than they were in 2019, but really didn't like the animation. Even in some of the songs when they're singing, even some of the lip syncing just seems off. I wasn't a fan of the animation at all. Don't feel like they nailed it. I actually kind of think it looked better in the 2019 one, and definitely the old animated one from the 90s is better. So the movie starts off when we're getting into the early Mufasa life. He's like a little cub with his parents. There's a whole tragedy that happens and his parents get murdered. So I guess he's not like from this big line of kings and the stars in the sky. They don't really mention anything about that at the beginning. But he ends up getting rescued by Scar. And I gotta say, they do a lot of these random callbacks. But of course, the claw thing where he grabs him by the claws to lift him up, that must happen like 3 times in this movie. Anyway, Scar ends up actually saving Mufasa. And his mom comes, and they normally don't trust outsiders, but they decide to take Mufasa in. And even though Mufasa's a stray, he's an orphan, they call him that a lot, the stray and the orphan. And Scar's dad doesn't like him. They don't accept outsiders. But Mufasa, the mother does like him, so ends up kind of taking him in. And him and Scar become friends. And Scar is actually the rightful king to these lions, right? He's the actual one. His dad gives him a great advice, like deceit is a tool used by all great kings, and great lines like that. So he's not a great king, really. But Mufasa is actually going to be raised by the female lions because the males and Scar's dad don't want him around because he's a stray. So anyway, so there's no line of kings, and I guess Scar and Mufasa aren't really brothers by blood. Mufasa's kind of like the stray that comes in there, but because he's raised by the female lions, we also learn that female lions have some sort of extra sensory power. I don't really know why they have that or how that works, but also Mufasa has it, so he can also see by closing his eyes and sending out his feelings everywhere. Nothing's really explained about the powers or why they have them or who has them or whatever, but anyway, it's just a thing to note that Mufasa has that. And anyway, they end up, you couldn't even make this up, they end up getting attacked by white lions. And I was like, oh yeah, like there wasn't enough comparisons to Kimba the white lion when Lion King came out. Here we go, we have a white lion tribe. Literally looks like an adult Kimba leading that tribe, and they're coming to attack Scar's parents' tribe, and, Mufasa causes a big scene, so it's actually kind of his fault that Scar's parents and their whole tribe gets murdered, and then they have to go on a run. Him and Scar, they're on the run on a little adventure, and they're looking for a new home. They're looking for the Pride Lands. And that's basically what the movie is. Mufasa and Scar and Rafiki and a lot of the other little animals from the other one all come back. There's so many callbacks and references to the other Lion King. It's a story that it's going to end with them getting to the Pride Lands and Pride Rock, but they're sort of getting chased by Kimba the White Lion and his tribe and things. And honestly, it's not great. The voice acting is awful. Keith David is great. He always is, but most of the lines are, I don't know if they're written by ChatGPT or AI or something, but not great. Just really, really stilted, wooden dialogue. I don't even know if I can blame the voice actors for the delivery because the lines they aren't great. Story was extremely uninteresting. Like, even with all these things happening, I sort of knew the ending before I started, and it was kind of like, why is this movie here? Why does it exist? You know what I mean? Like, I love a lot of the other Lion King movies. I even like Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Timon and Pumbaa and the 1.5, but I didn't have any fun here. There's just no joy here. The music comes in as honestly the biggest failure to me. I just can't wait to be king, and so many other songs are so memorable, like Scar's big song, but none of these songs, I watched this movie within an hour of watching it. I couldn't sing a single tune from this movie to you. Like I said, even some of the ones in Simba's Pride, I can remember. I've seen all these Lion Kings, but this one just felt really flat. Like, it is bad. I didn't like any of the beats. None of them were super memorable. And I was watching this even with the target audience age, and none of them were liking it either. I don't think this movie's going to be a hit, if you ask me. There was no fun at all. It was just it was devoid of interesting things happening. It's extremely long. It's like 2 hours long. It's way too long for a Lion King prequel story to be going on. Like, you need this to be under 90 minutes, I would say. And at the end of the day, this is one of those pointless movies. You're like, why does this even exist? Just to break down the lore of Mufasa? So he's no longer part of this big line of kings? I always thought that was really cool lore. Him and Scar being brothers. I wanted to see them growing up together and having whatever. And Scar does kind of get overshadowed by Mufasa, and he does get jealous and angry by the end of it, but you almost kind of get it, because Scar is the son of the king, not Mufasa, and he's also supposed to be like a jilted, rejected lover. Well, I don't know. I really didn't buy the story, and it didn't really make me feel like Scar would become this evil thing. Even how he gets the scar and how they call him Scar, it's all pretty weak. It's not really interesting, and it's not worth the 2 hours of your time to watch this movie. I recommend maybe catch it on streaming when it comes out or whatever, but I would not hit the theater for this one. This is an easy one to skip. But overall, Mufasa just doesn't really do anything to stand out at all. It's actually, I thought it was quite bad. In a year where we got Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, The Wild Robot, Moana 2, we've had a lot of great animated stories, and this is not one of them. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10 on the odometer. Definitely one of the worst ones of 2024, and easy one to recommend. You stay home. Don't spend your money on the theater experience for this one. But thanks so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And remember, everybody, stay out of trouble.